Hey folks, Invincible just got its very first mobile game. Yeah, it's no secret that mobile games are not exactly what the average Invincible super fan really wanted out of this franchise. When the trailer for Invincible Guarding the Globe first dropped, the comment section was pretty rough. A lot of folks were, disappointed that what looked like a fairly interesting game trailer turned out to be an ad for a crappy mobile experience with only about 5 seconds of actual gameplay shown. It's safe to say that if you love Invincible, you probably weren't insanely hyped for this game, but nonetheless, I checked it out, if for no other reason than because it might help fill the 5-minute gaps between more important tasks. For some personal background, I stopped playing these online multiplayer mobile games in, high school, so I have not had one of these pay-to-win style games on my mind for some time. If I were to compare Invincible Guarding the Globe to a game I've already played, the closest example I could give would probably be Marvel Future Fight, but as lame as that game is, it's definitely way more complex and interesting than this one, if for no other reason than, let's face it, Invincible isn't exactly teeming with iconic characters that everyone loves. That's not to insult Invincible, obviously. I love this show and sort of like the comics that it's based on, but Future Fight has 250 or so characters, as does Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Invincible's game has 31. And they're already kind of scraping with some of them. Did we really need 2 variants of the Rihanna Man? That's not to say that they couldn't include B and C list characters in this game if the gameplay is actually good. So let's talk about it. The good, the bad, and no, that's pretty much just it. The good and bad. That's the only 2 things that I have to say about this game. On the more positive side of things, I've reached level 25 just passively playing in my free time, and thus far I don't feel like the game has necessitated spending money to progress. I don't spend money on various gems and whatnot, but I feel like it hasn't made the entire experience impossible. And the character models are decent enough. They probably won't be winning any awards, but it was a good decision to not try to go super realistic and instead keep them somewhat stylized. I semi-half kinda like that the characters are wildly unbalanced. Yeah, Omni-Man is just exponentially stronger than basically any other character. A level 180 Omni-Man is about 20% stronger than my next most powerful character. Obviously, this makes strategizing way more boring because a few characters are basically unmatched, but you gotta appreciate that dedication to the sanctity of the lore, even when it breaks gameplay. Technically, I do have to give this game credit for reminding me that Invincible was back. I somehow got it in my head that it was returning on the 24th, not the 14th, so it was a nice surprise to open my game and see new episode out now. Other than that, I don't know, I like that Alan's special ability is bringing an asteroid from space. That's cute. Yeah, that's all that I can say that I actively like about this game, besides the fact that I just like Invincible and this gives me a vessel to think about it. Oh wait, there's a cute little joke where the Mahler twins have an extra line of text proclaiming themselves to be the original and not the clone. As you can see, other characters don't have a line of text in that spot, so I don't know, I thought it was like a fun little detail. So on to the negatives. Starting with the gameplay is what I would say if there was gameplay. Easily the biggest killer for a game like this is that you don't actually have to do anything. You just click through mindless level after mindless level with your characters on autoplay at double speed. If you don't have them on autoplay, you basically do nothing but trigger special moves, which autoplay usually does better anyway. It's boring and pointless, and in collecting some experience to make this video, I often found myself starting a battle and walking away to go do something productive with my life. I don't expect super engaging first-person gameplay in something like this, but I'd like to feel like I'm actually doing something. The best I can say about this is that your character choices do have somewhat of an impact on your ability to pass through a level. Sometimes I did find myself switching out for an extra defender or attacker, though I only really did so as random trial and error, as the only way that I can reasonably see strategizing in this game would require time, effort, and probably a pen and paper, which not a single person is going to dedicate to something like this, nor should they. The other obvious problem in this game is the ranking and leveling system. You pay various types of currency to level your characters up, increasing their stats. Every 20 levels, you have to pay an extra kind of currency, which is kind of dumb for one particular reason. The level caps all happen at multiples of 20. Maybe your character's max level is 100, So then you'll have to pay a ridiculous amount of currency to get from level 99 to level 100, even though you barely get anything in return for this. The obvious solution here is literally just to bump the extra currency up one level. Instead, spend extra to get from level 100 to 101, so then we can avoid having a ton of characters at just barely below their max level for no good reason. Besides the leveling system, your characters start out at 3 different tiers: Elite, Rare, and Worthless. You may think I'm joking, but the game actually gives you an option to automatically sell off your common heroes, which is a sign that maybe they don't belong in your game. You rank these characters up by combining them with other characters, meaning you'll have to keep getting more and more of the same person to make them more powerful. This isn't insane on its face, a lot of mobile games do this, but in perspective, this ends up being kind of crazy. There are 8 tiers in this game, excluding common, there are 7, except no, because each tier has a sub-tier within it. You don't go from rare to elite, you go from rare to rare plus to elite plus, and so on. So let's imagine then that you have a rare character and you want to rank them up to exceptional, just 2 full ranks up. To do that, you'll need 54 rare characters. To bump up another half level, you'll need another 54. You can slightly cut down on this number with characters who already start at elite, but after that, you are entirely combining boatloads of low-ranked characters just to get one slightly higher-ranked one. This wouldn't be a massive issue if you were getting new characters left and right, but you're only getting a few per day realistically, and ranking your characters up is the only way to increase their max level. Like I said, this is doable as far as I've gotten, but it's clear that eventually this is going to take far more time than I am willing to spend on a game like this. This game has a bunch of shops and various character accessories, but most of them aren't that interesting. In particular, the equipment items in this game are almost all boring. They're just invisible shirts, shoes, pants, and gloves that boringly boost stats. Some of the artifacts have mildly fun effects, but even those mostly boil down to stat boosts. There's also a kind of pitiful multiplayer mode where you join an alliance with 4 other people and let your characters passively fight enemies in the background for hours. You can technically help out by tapping the screen over and over and shooting lasers, but that gets boring almost instantly. With no chat or interaction feature, you may as well not be playing with other people. It's very silly. The last negative I'd like to address is the fact that this game has been marketed as having an original Invincible storyline, which, while technically true, is a storyline in that it gives you some dialogue text every 10 or so levels, boringly narrating how you just fought some scary enemies and hey, maybe there's a scarier one coming up. Yeehaw! The plot so far is technically about how Machine Head is cloning a bunch of superheroes, so much of the game is you fighting your own characters, which is obviously a way to cut down on how many characters they have to make. You don't need to make a ton of unique heroes and villains if there's heroes and villains on both sides of every fight. It's not a terrible design choice, and I guess they at least tried to justify it. I don't have examples really, but some of the dialogue is witty, I guess. It's just really kind of boring and not actually a story. I don't know why you'd really be expecting one, but there it is nonetheless. So how could this game be better? For starters, and I know this isn't going to happen, but it's nice to imagine hypothetically, this game should have been some kind of turn-based fighting game or something similar to that. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes isn't exactly a masterpiece, but as a teenager playing that game, I at least felt like I was making strategic choices. Hundreds of mindless autoplay battles is lame as shit, and I hate it. Give like a third or a quarter as many levels to fight through and make them mildly engaging. Then I'd actually want to play the levels instead of logging on to collect bland rewards and refresh the character shop. I might even hand the phone over to a friend and let them try it out. You know, organically spreading the word about a fun little mobile game. Seems like something that might drive sales. I am not a game designer, but I have played games like this. I know that it's possible. I don't know, maybe the budget wasn't there. Whatever. It's not like a mobile game is what Invincible fans are clamoring for anyway. I will be very happy when this show is popular enough to get a dedicated console PC game. I know that'll probably never happen, but a girl can dream. Besides this, I cannot believe I'm saying it, but add cosmetics. I know it sounds dumb, but human beings will literally pay you money to get Omni-Man in a pink sparkly cape, even if nobody is going to see it but them. I understand that this probably wasn't in the budget either, but you could have easily scrapped the entire multiplayer concept and dedicated time to something people will actually pay for, and nobody would have cared. You could have probably also pared down the starting roster. I doubt anyone would have missed Kursk. They clearly plan on adding more characters as the game goes, so trickle them in as more money rolls in, and more money probably will be rolling in if people can spend it on more than just currency and duplicates of the same character. Shit, man, even just recolors would probably be enough to get the ball rolling. I feel like this could have been done, and oh boy, would it have made refreshing the item shop more interesting than, oh look, more invisible boots. I'd love to end this video with this game isn't great, but the bones are all there, you can fix it. But let's be real, this is a bland Ubisoft, or however that's pronounced, mess made to get as much money out of this brand as possible. A word of advice to the Amazon movie people. I know you're desperate for money. You would probably be able to make more if your merch shop wasn't ass. But anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed me spending far too much time taking a lame mobile game semi-seriously. Please feel free to check out my other, more substantive Invincible-themed videos and subscribe to the channel. And, as the main character Invincible from the hit TV show Invincible always says, have an invincible-tastic Invinci-day.